Over the session to Paddy Padmaja Iyengar. Let me introduce her. To all of you know her very well. Padmaja Iyengar, Paddy, an ex-banker and former urban governance consultant, is now totally into poetry. Her maiden poetry collection, Pen Chance, has been recognized by India Book of Records for never-before-attempted film reviews and management topics in rhyming poetry. A recipient of several awards, Paddy has compiled and edited 6 international multilingual poetry anthologies, of which Amravati Poetic Prism 2016 to 2019 have been recognized by the Limca Book of Records as a poetry anthology in most languages. Her second poetry collection, Pen Chance, again is under the publication process. Over to you, Paddy.
Unmute, Paddy.
Paddy, unmute.
Thank you, Rolf. Thank you for giving me a voice. Thank you, Sina, for that wonderful introduction. It's always wonderful to be associated with your events. And namaskar and good evening from India to all of you. First of all, once again, my thanks to Sina, my dear friend, renowned poet, and the facilitator of the Rhyming Nature International Poetry Reading on Climate Change, and for inviting me to this prestigious event. Organized by the Government Polytechnic College, Perindamanna, I hope I pronounced it right, Kerala, India. I feel truly honored to be in the midst of such renowned and senior poets. Respected poets, I look forward to a great evening of hearing your poetry and to learning something from each one of you so that I can also start writing good poetry. Is Professor Veerankutti here? Sina, has he joined? He has not joined, no? Okay. So, as we are all aware, our Mother Nature and in effect, our environment are being increasingly destroyed by erosions of various kinds, most of all by us humans, through our mindless greed for constantly grabbing and occupying every available living space with scant regard for preserving our nature and our environment. No wonder that from time to time, nature too has been unleashing her fury on us through floods, earthquakes, and various other calamities, most of which are without an iota of doubt self-invited by us humans. In this context, the Rhyming Nature International Poetry Reading event, facilitated and helmed by our dear poet friend, Ms. Sina Srivalsan, is a laudable annual initiative of the Government Polytechnic College, Perindamanna, Kerala State, India, to draw attention, raise awareness, and to seek solutions for the ever-increasing erosion of our nature and natural resources. Thank you, Sina, once again, for inviting me to be a part of this significant and prestigious poetry meet. Has he joined us, Veerankutti sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So it's my very pleasant, what shall I say, honor to invite Mr. Bhisma Upreti from Nepal, a Nepali poet and writer with 6 books of poetry and 8 books of essays, published essays to his credit. His works have been translated into English, Korean, Japanese, Hindi, Serbian, Slovenian, and German. Mr. Bhisma Upreti from Nepal, please join us. Please let us hear your great poetry.
Thank you so much, Padmaja madam. Respected K. Sachidanandan sir and all the distinguished poets, Namaskar and good evening from Nepal. And special thanks to Sina ji for inviting me to this very prestigious poetry meet. Uh, Climate change is affecting all over the world, and as a country of Himalayan, as a resident of Himalayan country, I am also a witness of adverse effect of climate change, so that the glacier level of Himalayas is going down every year. The temperature is increasing, and then seasons are changing. Seasons have become unpredictable nowadays, and snows are melting down melting down fastly than earlier time, and rivers are getting dry and dirty. So these all are the effects we are uh, facing nowadays, especially in this Himalayan part of the world. So I think the responsibility of creative mind, creative persons has tremendously been increased to create awareness, to protect nature, to protect lives of the earth as a human being, to make earth worth living, or to make human civilization safe. So uh, as a a responsible citizen, we have some responsibility, but besides, as a creative person, we have more responsibility, accountability and responsibilities towards the uh, uh, preservation of nature. So I think so. And this in this evening, I will write 2 or 3 poems. Some poems are more. I'm most of the time I'm writing poems on various aspects of nature and human life, because I think there are only two things in the world to write. One is nature, and the other one is human being. And these two, the relationship of these two are inseparable. So uh, I would like to recite 2 or 3 poems. The first poem's title is "The Ocean." So most of the rivers which are generated from emerge from our Himalayas go to ultimately the ocean, especially to the Bay of Bengal. So sometimes with the Himalayas, with the river, our soils and other natural resources also flows and go to the Bay of Bengal. Uh, so this is the poem, "The Ocean." You are being swept away by the hands of the river, clay, stone like my flesh, made from melting snow, waters and waterfalls like my blood, plant and greenery like my dreams, and the poetic feeling I got from them. You never asked, is it fair to take me away in pieces? I couldn't speak, continuously observing this scene, just kept watching. I am the poet of the Himalayas. I have come to you today. I have come to you today carrying a poem written in tears. The ocean, listen to my poem today, the voice of my soul, the painful feeling. Where will you go today? You are bound by the edges from all sides. Thank you. The other one is the Himalayas. I have the Himalayas inside me. There are small green shrubs inside me. There are bouquets, rhododendrons. There are hard stones inside me, germinated from the nooks and corners of them are the crystal clear waterfalls. I have cold white snow on my head. I have the rivers flowing from the melting of the snow and their murmurs. I have the pathway that carries the hope of people. I too have landslides inside me. Till the time all these are inside me, I will be standing. You will just see me and my structure and will call my name. But someday, due to some reason, if the Himalayas fall down, I will be dismantled and broken into pieces. Then I will be finished. I have the Himalayas inside me. Thank you. And the last poem, the small one, its title is River. The river. I was made from the snow of these Himalayas. It is not my desire to flow down and never return, leaving behind the parents like Himalayas. If I do not flow, humming all through my way, I will either be a cold snow or a still lake. But after all, I am a river. Thank you. This much for tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhisma Upreti, sir. They were wonderful poems, and each one. Thank you, Bhisma Upreti, sir. They were wonderful poems, and each poem stressed the importance of preserving nature. Is there some disturbance? Yeah. May I speak?
Yes, Paddy, you
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhisma Upreti, sir. Each of your poem was very thought-provoking, and it drew attention to the importance of preserving nature, or be be doomed. The warning signal
Thank you so much.
was here in your poem, and I think that's very, very important. And I hope your voice is heard all over, so that the awareness to preserve nature gains more momentum and more dimensions. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you so much for the lovely poem, sir. It is now my great honor and pleasure to invite a very, very dear friend of mine, Dr. Maria do Samero Barroso, all the way from Portugal. She currently lives in Lisbon, in Portugal, and she's a medical doctor, a Germanist, and a much awarded global multilingual poet, translator, essayist, and researcher in Portuguese and German literature, translation studies, and also history of medicine. History of medicine is understandable because she's a regular doctor, medical doctor. Unlike some of the doctorates, she's a regular medical doctor. So I'm sure her poetry will have a lot of prescriptions and cures for what ails our nature and how we can preserve nature. Over to you, Maria. Please read your poem.
Thank you so much. Dear Paddy, I'm really happy to be here to see you. I just like the title, Rhyming Nature. And I'm very happy to hear such wonderful poems and to meet scientists here too. Science and poetry, I think, go well together. Well, and I'm just going to read one poem because I thought I was supposed to read just one poem. And this I wrote on thinking of how people mistreat the earth. And I wrote on the balconies of the moon. On the balconies of the moon, I look at the earth. It is still blue. My eyes are covered by turbid rivers filled with rotten debris. The fish are dying slowly in my eyes, immersed in these dirty rivers. Pestilence grows while the earth dies. A smile fades on your lips. I look at the green herbs, at the red roses. Amethysts may survive, Mother of pearl, too, my eyes are still blue, like the earth. For how long?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. That's a
So
very valid question at the end.
we must question and think of how to the way we live and the remedy for for these issues is in us, in everyone, to try to behave like as if we were more natural, not so sophisticated sometimes, because we create a lot of waste and pollution, and it's hard because we are used to it, and but we must create awareness, as you said, as poets, and try to give our contribution and make things sound in politics and well, in political decisions, to so that people can make policies covering all these problems that we are having, because we love our earth, we love poetry, and we like to live in a blue planet, and we hope to keep it blue and clean and happy.
Thank you, Maria, for those wise words. I'm sure that your voice will be reaching several people, and I hope the awareness to preserve our nature spreads far and wide. Your words and your wisdom spread far and wide. Thank you. I have just one request to make of all the poets. In view of the time constraints, as Seena said, we have to wrap up this poetry session in 2 hours before we are blanked out by the you know what. And so let's please stick to just one poem and our talk as brief as possible. So it gives me great pleasure to invite a poet all the way from Russia, Vyacheslav Kuprinov, all the way from Russia. Is he here? Because I didn't see him. Mr. Vyacheslav Kuprinov from Russia. Are you here? Okay, we'll move on to the next poet. Is Miss Nina Kosman from USA here? No, I didn't see her too. My great friend, Professor Angelo Rizzi, I saw him here, and it's always a great pleasure to connect with him. Professor Angelo Rizzi from Italy is an Italian polyglot poet. He has obtained 2 degrees in Arabic literature and Italian literature at French universities. He attended a UNESCO Congress in 2006 on the theme of dialogue between nations. He has received over 60 literary prizes and awards and has participated in several international poetry meets, notably the Academia de Letras Alpas 21. I'm sorry, my pronunciations are bad. And they named him the International Correspondent Academician in 2015. He has published 25 poetry collections so far. Over to you, Professor Angelo Rizzi. Please read your poem. And a request is all of you read only one poem because of the time constraints. I'm sorry to have to announce this. Please switch on your mic, Professor Rizzi. Please switch on your mic, Professor Angelo Rizzi. We are not able to hear you. I think you have to click on the mic icon. Unable to. We are not able to hear you. Is anyone able to hear him?
No. Angelo, please,
Switch on the mic.
can you see the mic? Please press on it.
Please click on the mic. No, we are not able to hear you. So while he's figuring out, shall we move to the next poet?
Sure.
Huh?
Sure.
We will come back to you, Professor Angelo Rizzi. Please bear with us. We will move to the next poet once you figure out your mic issues. It's my great pleasure now to invite Miss Annie George from India. She is the author of poetry collections Gladioli and De-Stressing and translator of Malayalam short stories by author P. Surendran. She is also the editor of poetry anthology Roots and Wings and Border. Annie George is currently serving as a section officer at the Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala, India. Over to you, Annie. Please recite your poem.
Okay, I'm taking on where Sajeev has inspired us by telling us about his concerns about nature, and I'm going to read out The Deep, a poem I wrote in before 2006, and it's come in my first volume, published in 2006, in my collection, The Gladioli and Other Poems. So I'm going to read The Deep. Who can steer the course of the wild denizens, break into the eloquent silence of the deep, or even delve into the dark mysteries of the deep? Who can dare to defy the law of the jungle, even when they claim to be the ruler of the masses in their concrete captivity? Who can pump out toxic waste and restore lost air into the lungs of these vast reserves and reservoirs? Who can withhold the strength and girth of such vast expanses of a pristine paradise? Or even clap down peals of thundering rain to their parched neighborhood? Who can face the roar of the enraged tiger or the angry bear, dare interrupt the laughing hyenas, the frolicking elephant families, or the mating call of the lion-tailed macaques? Who can satisfy the curiosity of the mountain squirrel or the shy meekta? Who can vouch for those passing thrills at hairpin turns around heavenly hills, promising enchanting views at vantage points of the valley wild? I find it hard, and so do my children, to resist the call of the wild, swinging Tarzan-like on rope-ringed trees among other Mowglian adventures. These ferns cling to me as if to say, maybe your lines can help. Thank you.
Excellent poem, Annie, and very well recited. And I was particularly drawn by the line in your poem, who can withhold the power of pristine paradise or the roar of the enraged tiger? I think these are all very powerful metaphors for the nature's
Yes, I've taken them all from my travels to the various sanctuaries in the country. So these are all coming down from those experiences. Thank you.
Excellent. Very well said. Very good one. And I hope I understood your poem right. So that gives me
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Is Mr. Khalid Imam from Nigeria here? I didn't see him. Is he here? I don't think so. Is he there? Sina?
Oh, no.
No, he's not there. Now it's
Veeranguti sir is here.
who?
Veeranguti sir is here.
He has come. That's great.
Sir, are you here?
Yes, I am here. Yes, I am here, Sina.
Yes. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Professor Veerankutti from India. He's a Malayalam poet and a former associate professor in the Department of Malayalam, Government College, Madapalli, Kerala, India. His poems have been translated into English, German, Tamil, Kannada, I must say Tamil, being a Tamilian, I must say Tamil, Kannada, Marathi, and Hindi languages. He is a recipient of the 2017 Kerala Sahitya Academy Award for poetry for his poetry collection, Minda Prani. Is it Manda Prani or Minda Prani?
Minda
Minda
Prani.
Prani.
Minda
Minda
Prani.
Prani. Okay.
Silent
Minda
and
Prani. So over to you. And Professor Veeran Kutty, we have a small request of you. Please unveil the book cover of the upcoming anthology. Formally launch the book cover of Rhyming Nature Poetry Anthology that will showcase the poems that have been read here and in the earlier year too. Could you please hold up the book cover if you have it with you?
Actually, Sina will show the cover and I will
Yes.
release it.
Yes.
A warm greetings to
Very
all
good.
poets. And I'm very
So-
happy to meet all you here.
Yes.
And I also am very happy to release the cover page of the anthology, Rhyming Nature, published by Peridhalmanna Polytechnic College. And I also congratulate Sina Srivalsan, who initiated to publish this poem and conduct this type of poetry venture. And now, so she will share the cover, I think,
Yes.
now. Over to Sina.
Sir, you can read your poem.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to read my poem, only, I think, two small poems. I think the first one is Memorial. Memorial. Watch the flight of a very humble effort indeed. Wingless. Sorry. Watch the flight of the milkweed fluff, a very humble effort indeed. Wingless, it is disallowed crossing of borders and denied the ownership of the skies. Yet it flies carrying the seed, cradled. Yet it flies carrying the seed, cradled like an infant. Under the shade of the tree, it imagines someone will rest tomorrow. The milkweed is unaware of these lines. In the weightlessness of its ignorance, it flies. In the weightlessness of its ignorance, it flies. In the compassion that we show by not calling it a bird, it might float a bit more distance. In the compassion that we sense, a humble but valiant effort. Where it falls, unknown to anyone, a plant might stand in memoriam tomorrow. A humble but valiant effort. Where it falls, unknown to anyone, a plant might stand in memoriam tomorrow. Second poem, Embrace, a small poem, Embrace. The trees that we planted far apart from each other, worried that their leaves would touch, their roots are embracing ardently under the earth. The trees that we planted far apart from each other, worried that their leaves would touch, the roots are embracing ardently under the earth. Thank you.
Two short but excellent poems, sir. They were thought-provoking, especially the word about the bird, flying, unaware of the weightlessness of its ignorance when it flies. I think I didn't get the line exactly, but I think I captured the essence of that particular line.
Actually, it is more beautiful in our mother tongue.
Yes, I'm sure.
Because it has its own rhythm.
I'm sure. It's a very beautiful poem. And I particularly like those words, weightlessness of its ignorance when it flies. Indeed, birds, are like that. they are ignorant and they're unaware of their surroundings. It now gives me immense pleasure to invite another dear friend of mine, Kalina Temati Kenta from Canada. Now she calls herself Kalina Sheila Devi. I'm very glad that Amravati Poetic Prism made Kalina Sheila Devi of Kalina Temati Kanta and Ishwar of Rolf Doppenberg. We are very happy that India has been able to influence you people so much. So over to you, Sheila Devi Kalina, to your poem. I want to read a small few lines about you. She's a Canadian citizen. Her poetry has been published by the California Poetry Society. Often using daily life as metaphor, her words take us on a spiritual journey. That's a very interesting introduction about you. So we look forward to going on a spiritual journey with you, Kalina, or Sheila Devi. When you read your poem, please take us along on a spiritual
Thank
journey.
you very much, Patty. And thanks it's so nice to see everybody again and to hear your voices.
Yes.
Yes, I miss being there so much and our meetings, and this is really a lovely opportunity. And I thank Sina so much for including me, although I hadn't sent her a poem or anything, because I was so busy with my daily catastrophes, or what seemed like catastrophes, to really think about the climate and the climate change in the world, to be honest. And so this poem is a bit about that. I will begin. It's called Climate Change What? I'd like to draft a poem about love instead of chemical pollution, cyclones, and fossil fuels. I'd prefer to drive to work and flip through YouTube than reminisce about oncoming doom while oceans rise and we continue to consume. I'm ready to book a cheap flight. Homo sapiens overtakes the skies while he knows we should decarbonize. I'm preoccupied by my fertility, family, and food. Yet I know emissions contribute to grave and tomb. The glaciers are melting, lives are at risk, incidents of forest fires and hurricanes increase. A headline reads, "The world's energy system must be completely transformed," as I wait for the update on my new phone. As for biodiversity, there might be some hope. Apparently, the gorilla population has grown. Thank you.
Excellent, Kalina Sheila Devi. That was a very thought-provoking poem where you drew attention on the climate change. What? That's a very important question that you asked. And you also your poem spoke about carbon emission and glaciers melting, forest fires, world energy systems, requiring a transformation to meet the current requirements and the current challenges of global warming. Thank you very much for that thought-provoking poem, Kalina Sheila Devi. I hope I captured the essence of your poem correctly. Yes. Is Mr. Les Wicks from Australia here? Sina? Is Mr. Les Wicks?
Actually, he has sent a video, but we are not able to play it.
Okay.
So we are working on it.
Right. So it's my immense pleasure to invite the next poet, Mr. Baiju CP from India. Is he here? Yes, he is there. Welcome,
Baiju?
sir. Yes. Baiju sir is here. Mr. Baiju writes poetry and short stories in Malayalam. He has published 5 books so far, and he is a prolific poet. Over to you, Baiju sir. Please read your poem.
Okay. Dear respected writers and our viewers of International Poetry Reading Program, I'm very happy to join Rhyming Nature, the second edition. I'm Baiju CP from Kerala, India. I'm presented poem by Malayalam language. Poem title, Orilayavanam. Orilayavanam. കാറ്റ് വന്ന് കൂടെ പോകാൻ വിളിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഞെട്ടികളിൽ പാദമുറപ്പിച്ച് നൃത്തം ചെയ്യണം. കാറ്റ് വന്ന് കൂടെ പോകാൻ വിളിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഞെട്ടികളിൽ പാദമുറപ്പിച്ച് നൃത്തം ചെയ്യണം. ജലക്കണ്ണാടിയിൽ മുഖം കാണിച്ച് ആകാശത്തെ വിസ്മയിപ്പിക്കണം. ജലക്കണ്ണാടിയിൽ മുഖം കാണിച്ച് ആകാശത്തെ വിസ്മയിപ്പിക്കണം. പ്രാണവായുവിനായി പിടയുന്നവർക്ക് എന്റെ ശ്വാസം നിലയ്ക്കും വരെയും ജീവൻ കൊടുക്കണം. പ്രാണവായുവിനായി പിടയുന്നവർക്ക് എന്റെ ശ്വാസം നിലയ്ക്കും വരെയും ജീവൻ കൊടുക്കണം. ഒരിലയാവണം, ഒരിലയാവണം, കാറ്റിൽ പറന്നു പോകും വരെ ഒരില പ്രപഞ്ചത്തിനായി നൃത്തമാടുന്നത് പോലെ. ഒരിലയാവണം, കാറ്റിൽ പറന്നു പോകും വരെ ഒരില പ്രപഞ്ചത്തിനായി നൃത്തമാടുന്നത് പോലെ. Thank you all. Thank you especially my dear friend and poet Srinath Srivalsan and Government Polytechnic College, Perindalvanna. Okay, once again, thank you all.
I don't know Malayalam, sir. One particular 3 words from your poem, they touched my heart. Because I'm a Tamilian, I understand a smattering of Malayalam.
But I will give a very short translation of this poem.
Yes. Jalakannadiyil mukham kandichu. I love those 3 words, sir.
Actually, this poem reflects deep ecology in all its sense. So, I want to be a leaf. Okay. When the wind comes and calls you to go with it, you have to dance with your feet. Show your face in water mirror. Water, water reflects as mirror. And to make the sky inspiring. For those gasping for breath, give life until you stop breathing. I want to become a leaf until it blows away in the wind for the universe.
Beautiful. Excellent.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you.
Lovely. It is said that we always, save the best things for the last, And for me, my best friend, Rolf Doppenberg, we have saved him for the last to read his poem. So, Rolf Doppenberg, it gives me immense pleasure to invite you to please read your poem. But before that, a few words in introduction about you. Mr. Rolf Doppenberg from Switzerland, coming from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, is a nomadic writer. His writing, poetry, and travel prose explore groundwater territories. He was invited to the Amaravati Poetic Prism International Multilingual Poets Meet 2019, held at Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, India. And that is when Rolf and all of us, Sina, all of us connected with Rolf. And thereafter, it has been a long-lasting friendship with Maria, Nizar Sartaviji, Kalina, and several other poets. So thank you, Rolf. And now over to you to read your poem.
Thank you, Paddy. Greetings to all. Thank you to Sina for inviting me to Rhyming Nature. I will directly begin to read my poem. It is an orchard on the slope of the Rhine River, facing south, like a face smiling at the sun. Old apple trees follow the slope, strong branches dancing slowly among wild growing leaves of grass, playing with the soil, talking to the bees. But there is a wave of thorns, a bramble stealing light and water, killing softly everything else. We will cut it all and let the smallest violets bloom again, together with dozens of blossoms, living gems of amber and azurine. And in the coming summer, at the birth of twilight, the fireflies will glow again. Thank you.
Excellent, as always, and very sensitively penned poem, Rolf. A few snippets that I could catch from your poem, like the face smiling at the sun, playing with the soil, talking to the bees. These are all very nature-related things that we do, playing with the soil and killing softly. And then the fireflies. I think all these are so connected to nature, and it's a beautiful poem, Rolf. Thank you very much for sharing this lovely poem.
Thank you to you.
Yeah.
We have one more poet, Gobinda Vishwas is here.
Okay, right. So I will invite him now. It gives me immense pleasure to invite Professor Gobind Viswasji. Warm welcome. And I will just read out. I'm not very good with the phone, so I'll try to read out your bio, which I received in the last minute on my phone. Gobind Viswasji is a poet of 4 published books of English poems that consist of 400 poems published in Kolkata and New Delhi, namely the Sunny Poems, the Universal Poems, the Eternal Poems, and the Global Poems. And his 5th book of poems, the Immortal Poems, will soon be published from Kathmandu, Nepal. He regularly organizes virtual meets and English poetry festivals. He has hosted 58 weekly poetry talk shows and several other poetry-related activities. He has composed nearly 560 poems since 2013, and those who are interested can visit his website www.gobindaviswas.com or the YouTube channel Gobinda Viswas to know more about the poet and his poetry. Over to you, sir. Please read your poem.
Namaste, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Namaste, my dear poet friends. Good morning, good day, and good evening. Thanks a lot, poet Sina Sivalsan, ma'am, for giving me this grand chance to participate in this grand International Poetry Festival. My cordial and warm love to all the poets present here from across the whole of the world, from across the whole of this blue planet. I thank you, my dear poet friends, Honorable K. Sachidanandan, Achyutan V. Robi, poet Shefalika Bharma, poet ma'am Padmaja Iyengar Paddy, poet Nijar Sartawi, poet Bharati Mahalingeshwar, poet ma'am Sina Sivalsan, poet Amjad Ali, poet Angelo Hijji, poet Anita Prabhu, poet Annie George, poet Bhisma Upreiti, poet Kalyana Sila Devi, poet Munjusha T. Ajoy, poet Mario do Samero Barroso, poet Shreyas Menon, poet Baiju CP, poet Sanjeev TV, poet Polip M, poet Rolf Doffenberg, and poet Biran Kutti Kulanpuri. Thank you, my dear friends. Now I am reading one poem. My dear friends, you know that on the last 24th February, a horrible war started between Ukraine and Russia. And my dear friends, you all know that so many innocent people have been killed along with the soldiers. We all think that the soldiers are heroes, but we should think that they have their own families, their own children. And for this horrible war, many schools, buildings, bridges, hospitals have been destroyed along with the innocent people. Now I'm reading. The title is Ukraine is Crying. The title is Ukraine is Crying. I am Ukraine, your dear friend Ukraine. I have been crying for days together. With bombs, they are mutilating my limbs. Kharkiv, Mariupol, Kherson, and Kyiv. Oh dear. My children are afraid of horrible death. Like Exodus, they escape to green pasture. But they have no Moses to lead them. They die of fathomless thirst and hunger. Whole of my body is heavily wounded, with many a scar, wound, and disfigure. They destroy my homes, schools, and bridges. I am crying helplessly because I am a mother. My children are killed at every moment. I was their earthly paradise, it is sure. They are living in happiness and peace. Now the inferno looms large everywhere. Please save my children. Please save my children. They are innocent, but they cruelly suffer. The enemies are turning me into a cemetery. I pray, please stop war. Please stop war. Please stop war. Thank you, my dear friends.
Indeed, a clarion call from Govinda Biswas. He has spoken about the devastation caused by the Ukraine war. In his poem, Ukraine is Crying. It reminded me of a song I had heard long back. Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. I think some of you might have heard that song. Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. So it was very reminiscence of, I was reminded of that song. And, the way he spoke of the anguish of the mothers, who are suffering because of this war. War in anywhere in this world is bad. Ukraine, Russia. I think everybody has to, forget the word. Maybe the word war should be removed from the English dictionary and all the other dictionaries in all the languages of the world. Some words, if I think they are removed from the dictionary, probably the future generation will remain unaware of such things as war and violence and such things that exist in the current generation.
Paddy, Angelo is here. I think you can call
here?
Angelo.
Oh,
is here.
yes.
In another.
Yes.
Angelo, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So it gives me immense pleasure to invite Professor Angelo Rizzi. I think I read his bio. I now invite you to, no, I think I did not read his bio. Did I, Sina? Did I read his bio? Anyway, I'll read it again as an introduction. Professor Angelo Rizzi from Italy is an Italian polyglot poet. He has obtained 2 degrees in Arabic literature and Italian literature at French universities. And he's completing a master's degree shortly in Italian studies at the Manouba University in Tunisia. He has received 60 literary prizes and awards and has participated in several international meetings in international poetry meetings in Italy, Cuba, France, Romania, Tunisia, Brazil, and India. The Accademia de Letras Al Paz 21 of Cruz Alta, I'm sorry if my pronunciations are wrong, Porto Alegre, Aras, Brazil, named him the International Correspondent Academician in 2015. He has 25 published poetry collections to his credit. Over to you, Professor Angelo Rizzi. Please read your poem.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening to our poets from Tunisia. Thank you, Sina, for inviting me to the second edition to Rhyming Nature. The title of poem is The Last Chance. Increases the temperature The earth warms up. We must act, not react. I first. Otherwise, we will bake like chickpeas in a pan. The snows melt. White birds, they no longer know where to go. We must do something, but what to do? Forests burn, fires everywhere, sometimes provoked for profit, sometimes natural. We have to love trees, they are our oxygen. Torrential rains, more and more intense and stronger. They bring mourning and destruction. We must act, not react. I first, before it's too late. Thank you.
Excellent and a thought-provoking poem, Professor Angelo Rizzi. Your words, we must do something, but what to do? We must act and not react. I think these are all words that they are very meaningful, and it's a very thought-provoking poem that you just recited. Thank you very much for sharing your concerns about the way the nature is being degraded all around us and the ill effects of the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sina, now may I please invite you to read your poem, Sina? And
No. I'm not reading my poem.
you must read, Sina.
No. See, I'll read the poem sent by Vyacheslav Cipriano from Russia. He's a poet from Russia. He has to move for a very urgent program. So he sent me a poem. So I will read it for him.
Please,
So
please.
this is for Vyacheslav Cipriano from Russia. How to become a porcupine. Remember, you are still a man. You are still a man, and think how often you have behaved like a beast, how often men have acted. Imagine what else men are capable of, and once your hair is standing on end, consider yourself a porcupine and apply double quick for a place in the Red Book. That's all. Translated from Russia by Francis R. Jones from the book Anyone's Tongue, Forest Book, London, Boston, 1992.
Excellent. The metaphor of porcupine, I think that says it all about the poem. Thank you very much, Sina, for reading that poem. Now, if you will all bear with me, I would like to read my poem if I have the permission. Yeah. I hope everyone has finished their poem. Has everyone finished reading their poem?
Everyone has finished the poem, and I think Annie George have requested Baiju to sing something.
Sure. We'll come to that too, because singing is always
Yeah, we'll end with that musical note.
the same, you know.
Yeah.
So, we are eager to hear your poem, Paddy.
Thank you, Sina.
please,
Thank you for this
Paddy.
wonderful honor and opportunity to read my little poem in amidst, to such a august gathering of poets. My poem is titled Clarion Call. Let the ship of peace, amity, love, and tolerance sail on the low and high tides with the fish and the whale. May the brown earth, green nature, and the blue sea joyfully coexist with the flora, fauna, you and me. It's sad that while the blue sea and green nature embrace and welcome all into their fold and nurture, human beings tend to constantly plunder and destroy nature and its resources, using their survival as a ploy. While all others, trees, animals, or birds, take from nature only what they need, man is driven solely and blindly by his greed. To needs of the future, he pays no heed, and thus his own doom is he unable to read? Open spaces, greenery, water bodies, and all are a part of man's concrete jungle tall. Man has apparently chosen his own downfall by turning a deaf ear to nature's clarion call. We neglect nature today to invite our tomorrow's doom. For indifference and complacency, now there is no room. We have gone far too far, plundering nature's wealth, endangering ecological and future generations' health. Conservation and good practices are the need of the hour. Saving nature from further doom is still within our power. Thank you.
This poem is also included in our anthology, and we have only few poems in that anthology, but all are very nice, very thought-provoking poems. We are very happy to have those poems in our anthology.
Thank you. So shall I do the next honors, Sina, the next part of it?
Yes. The session is open for discussion.
Yes. Thank you all for such a lively and absorbing poetry reading session. And for me personally, each of you provided a great learning experience, something to take home and to retain for improving my own poetry writing skills. I'll now be inviting each of you to share your impressions about this event. If we go in an order, all the impressions can be collected and it can be a good discussion. And owing to time constraints, each speaker to please take only 1 minute, please. I'm sure your impressions will provide valuable insights for further improvements in the planning and execution of our future events, and also to conceive more themes based on nature preservation, etc. Dr. Sachidanandan, can we have your impressions? Is he here? Okay. May I invite Professor? This is in no particular order. It's not in the order in which the poets were invited. I always like to shuffle the order.
Yes. Session is open.
Exactly. The session is on. Professor Angelo Rizzi, would you like to share your impressions?
Yes, but personally, I think a part that is a political problem, political solution, political. I think that like each of us contributes to pollution, each of us must contribute to save, to search a solution. We need to participate first. Government arrive always late. The climate is not priority for government. Any government is not priority.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable insights. Thank you for sharing your views. And now I have great pleasure in inviting, is Professor Veeran Kutty here? Sina, is Professor Veeran Kutty here? Okay, we'll move to the next poet. Ms. Shefalika Verma, aap yahan hain? Is she here? No. Dr. Sajeev TV, is he here? Okay. My great friend Rolf Doppenberg, now to your impressions about this event and the theme and how you felt about the whole experience.
Thank you, Paddy. Sorry?
No, continue.
Please continue.
Thank you again, Sina. I think what is important for me is to really experience the nature, to be inside the nature, to take time to go to the forest, to go to the river, to spend some time there, to be aware not only of the destruction of nature, but aware of the nature itself, looking at the nature, feeling the nature, smelling the perfumes of nature, looking at the birds, taking time to see the lights, and this is very important to me as a human being, but also as a poet, because this is a very deep source of inspiration in my work. So I think just being in the nature and writing poems inspired by the nature is an important way of letting the awareness of nature grow. Thank you.
Very well said, Rolf. Feeling and smelling the perfume of nature, I think each of us needs to do that. I see Professor Sajeev TV here. Sir, could you please share your impressions?
I look forward to this particular event with a very high level of importance. And basically what I understand is that I'm a person who studies nature. We use empirical tools to study nature. But I also know that the perceptions of nature was ingrained in my forefathers, foremothers, and all. And I'm in a situation where when I practice science, I understand that a large amount of information cannot be captured in science proper. And I understand that the poets capture all those elements in its entirety about nature. So when I practice science, I come across situations where I cannot empirically explain everything. But when I read poetry, I see you all people explaining it much better. So I look forward to all the poets around who would capture the real essence of nature. There is immense loss happening. There's a loss of species, loss of habitats, loss of ecosystems happening, loss of parents happening. And I personally look at the poets that you will ingrain the essence of every knowledge which humankind has produced. Rhyming nature is a fantastic event which can do that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very succinctly put, sir. Excellent observations and very succinctly put about what we need to do and the steps ahead. May I now invite Dr. Bhisma Upreti to share his valuable thoughts on this event. भीष्मा उप्रेती जी, आप यहाँ हैं?
He's not here.
I think he isn't here.
Maria is here. Maria is here.
Yeah. I'm going to next invite Maria only. She's next in my list. Yes, my dear friend Maria dos Amaro Barroso, Dr. Maria dos Amaro Barroso. Maybe hear your insights. Just for 1 minute, please. Everybody, please take not more than 1 minute. Quickly, briefly, your thoughts on this poetry event, because I think we are already overshooting the time, and suddenly we should not go blank.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, now we are free. Right. Because recitations are over. Okay. Now we are free.
Right.
Okay.
Over to you, Maria, for your impressions.
My impressions, I just would like to say that, to remind that poets are the guardians and of ancestral beauty, human values, and for that reason, we stick to the best traditions of the human beings and of the human souls. And so we must keep saying we must preserve our human values and the values of nature in our world. And so I think it's up to us to stand for beauty, for peace, for harmony, and say we don't want wars. We want to be happy. We want a green world, a blue planet we want happiness.
Very well said, my dear friend Maria. Very well said. You called the birds our guardians and said stick to the best practices and traditions of human values and endeavors. Thank you very much for those thoughts. May I next invite my dear friend Kalina? Is she here? No, she's not there. May I invite my friend Mr. Nizar Sartawi to share his observations and impressions on this event? Nizar?
Thank you.
Nizar sir,
Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Sina, for this magnificent meeting. I enjoyed it first of all because I'm seeing nature in the eyes of all those poets that I've met today, and I'm learning a lot from you. Poets have always sang for nature. It brings to my mind Walt Whitman, Emily Dickinson, Henry David Thoreau, Frost, and W.H. Davis, and so many others, D.H. Lawrence and Robert Frost. They've all been attached. They all have this affinity with nature, and we do too. So, having said that, I want to thank you again, and I can't thank you enough, of course. But good memories from this meet. Really.
Thank you, Professor Nizar Sartawi, for those wonderful words and the wonderful words of appreciation and praise for this event. And thank you very much for all the valuable thoughts you had shared earlier. Is Baiju sir here? Baiju sir is here?
Baiju, are you here? Bhishma sir is here. Bhishma sir is here.
Bhishma Upreti sir is there? I think they've all... may I request Gobinda Biswas sir to please share very briefly your own observations and impressions about this.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. May I say something, ma'am?
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, on meeting these great poets, I am overwhelmed. I am enchanted. The fragrance of their poetry, the aroma of their poetry still linger here. And ma'am, I am very glad that all the poets have composed poetry on the beautiful things. And ma'am, it will be very good, ma'am, if ma'am in the next poetry session, more and more poets can join. And ma'am, if the theme is open theme, then more and more poets can join, ma'am. And ma'am, I would like to inform all the poets here, ma'am, my next, that means my 12th online poetry festival will be held on the coming 26 March, Sunday at 7 p.m. Indian time. And if any one of you wants to join my online poetry festival, now I am giving my WhatsApp number here. You can contact me. And my online poetry festival will be a very, very gala event, very, very grand event. And in the last, I again want to thank Sina Sibalson ma'am and Padmanja Iyengar Pedi ma'am and all the sirs and poets here. Thank you, my dear sirs and madams.
Thank you very much. It's always said that the host state should be the last one to speak. And therefore, I have retained two daughters of the host state, Kerala. Annie George, please share your impressions. And we'll conclude with Sina's final words. Both are daughters of Kerala. So over to you, Annie.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, Paddy. I'm just hugs to you. It's a beautiful time we spent here, and you've made up for all. You've bridged it. You bridged this. Thank you. It was wonderful being with you all. We shared really all the gems that we could present, and it has made us more responsible. That's it. It's making us more responsible. What are we doing? So it will help us go beyond our lines and help a little bit in preserving whatever beautiful is left of this earth. Thank you, man. Thank you, especially to Sina. I'm in your room. I'm in your room. Last time we were together, we were hosting. I have beautiful memories with me. I'm so sorry I am not able to spend much time with you all otherwise, but I'm so happy for inviting me, and fantastic. I hope to see you all together again once more. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, bye. And friends, I want to share a small tidbit here, You saw two anchors, One anchor was a 17-year-old and the other anchor is a 71-year-old. So, it was really fun for me. Let's give a huge round of applause to Suyesh Menon, because this was his maiden, comparing effort. And I think that young lad requires a big applause from all of us. Big shout out to Suyesh Menon. Hip hip hooray.
Hello, Padmaja ma'am.
Yes, sir.
One anchor is not 70 years old, but 17 years old. 17 years old.
No, that's what I thought, one is 17 and the other was 71, It's such a coincidence. I thought I should share that little tidbit with you and also give my appreciation for co-anchoring Suyesh Menon. Thank you very much. It was wonderful. Now over to you, another daughter of Kerala, Sina, for her impressions.
Yes, sir. Sajeev, sir.
Just one suggestion. Now, I don't know whether you would appreciate that or not, but this is something fantastic happening. Poets across the globe coming together, reciting their poetry, engaging with that. And one of the things which I was so impressed was the time frame. Sina was very particular that the program ends at a particular point of time. It doesn't lag on. But I would suggest that as a common person, as a common citizen who is not a poet, I just want to reiterate the fact that we look forward to you poets to hold on to the culture, to hold on to the indigenous knowledge, a large amount of knowledge. It is just you who can do that. So we need to think of new runners of doing it. We need to think about new publications that can come out. So poetry with or against nature. One thing which I have learned in my life is that we can only work with nature. We can never ever work against nature. Now, when I say that, you poets nod your head because you know it before I say it. Many other people doesn't know it. So we look. I just reiterate the fact that we, the common people of the globe, look at you poets to be with nature. There should be publications coming up. There should be aggressive poems coming up. There should be aggressive poems which demand the succinct nature of nature. We need to take this platform to much higher levels. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Actually, the name Rhyming Nature is contributed by Mr. Sajeevan, sir. And when I thought of this event, I wanted to stick on the same name. Let it be. So I just want to sum up with only 2 sentences. We all abide this planet as guests, not masters. But we are badly damaging it, ignoring the fact that eventually only humankind will disappear, not the planet. So that's all. Now I invite
Well said.
Amjad. Now I invite Amjad Ali, the coordinator of this program, to deliver vote of thanks. Amjad?
Hello.
Amjad is behind this, all these things, behind the website and the live streaming, everything.
A big round of applause to Amjad. Thank you, Amjad, for making it all possible and for connecting us all globally. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all of you for joining us today in this Rhyming Nature International Poetry Reading event. I would like to especially thank our Chief Guest K. Sachidanandan, President of Sahitya Academy, Kerala, for gracing us with his presence and inaugurating the event. Our guest of honor, Nisar Sartavi and Dr. Shafalika Verma, for sharing their valuable insights on poetry and nature. I would also like to extend my thanks to Srimati Seena for her warm welcome. Also, Manjusha ma'am, principal of our college, for her presidential address, and Dr. Sajeev TV, scientist at KFRI, for introducing and sharing message of the event. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Anida S. from Tripunithura Government Polytechnic College for their felicitation. Last but not least, I would like to thank you all the participants, poets, organizers, and everyone else who made this event possible. Your support and contribution have been invaluable, and we truly appreciate it. I would also like to take this opportunity to remind us all of the importance of the nature and the challenges it currently faces. Our planet is facing a climate crisis, and it is crucial that we take action to protect and preserve the natural world. Let's continue to appreciate, protect, and preserve nature in all its forms. Once again, thank you all for being here, and we hope you all enjoyed the event as much as we have. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
sir.
very much, friends.
Thank you, sir.
And with this, the curtain is drawn on today's program, but behind the curtain, many things can happen. So we can chat if we wish. And this brings the curtains down on the program. So
Thank you.
now it's an informal chit chat.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Please stop the live streaming.
Okay, bye.
So thank you all. Thank you very much.